Hello everybody, welcome back to the Twitter Retention mini course. This is week 2, lesson 4. So this is the final lesson of this week, and we're going to be talking about DMs, the do's and don'ts of direct messaging. Right, so using DMs is a necessary part of your Twitter journey. However, there are some do's and don'ts if you want to build a reputation. While people might forgive a newbie making some rookie errors, if you continue to spam people with affiliate sales, you'll earn a reputation, but it won't be a good one. Personally, I have a long memory. While I haven't blocked and muted people who do this, I remember them. Similarly, don't DM bigger accounts. I'm going to tell you why. So, if you don't know him already, you soon will. JKMolina is a popular account on business Twitter, and I've heard him say this personally. He said he mutes people who post useless comments under his tweets, and he ignores or mutes people who send him DMs. Well, probably the same useless DMs. But listen carefully to the advice he gave. Only DM bigger accounts if you can A. teach them something, B. offer true value, or C. make them more money. And as you can tell, that isn't going to be an easy thing if you just started your Twitter account. So keep this in mind. Ask yourself the previous questions before sending a DM, especially to a bigger account. The last thing you want to do is be muted by an account you admire. You might have a small account now, but if you play your cards right, this won't always be the case. So don't burn bridges now. Think of the long game. Avoid being muted by people you admire. Hold your horses. Only DM people if you guarantee to meet one of those criteria we just mentioned. Here's something I just wanted you to think about. Although I have plenty of experience in business consultancy, content and copywriting, I've got some social media management and affiliate marketing experience, I haven't sent a DM to any big accounts. I've written a couple of articles for JK's community, and I'm sure if I wanted to, I could bodge together an offer. A decent one, probably. But I know that it's not the right time. I'm not 100% confident in the current position in my Twitter journey, and I'm also not sure if the offer I could give is something I want to do. So that's just something to keep in mind, that even though I could probably do something like that, I'm holding off. I don't think it's a good idea. Because for me, I'm playing the long game as well. Okay, so DMs with a CTA. So CTA stands for call to action. It means you want the person to do something. So some of you, I'll have probably spoken to some of you on DM before the course started. The CTA was me inviting you to the course. Or for others, it would have been my free Twitter ebook, and from there you were invited to the course via email. So here's some other CTA DMs: selling affiliate products, networking opportunities, and client outreach. There is no golden rule when it comes to DMs. I do encourage you guys to send them and start talking to your peers. You can form alliances, buddy up to share retweets, or just shoot the breeze. but I want you guys to be cautious when sending sales DMs. 1. People hate them, especially if it's a copy and paste generic spam message. You also run the risk of damaging your rep, and we don't want to do that. So now for the meat of this lesson, the do's and don'ts of direct messages. And we're going to start with the don'ts. So don't send copy and paste DMs when trying to make sales. People can spot them a mile off, especially if you get someone's name wrong. 2. Don't follow someone with the sole intention of marketing to them and then unfollowing if you don't get a sale. This is one of my personal bugbears. I despise it, and I will always make a note never to buy with that person or interact with them. Do not repeatedly bug people with follow-ups, especially if they don't reply to your original pitch. 4. Don't pitch products you don't use or own, and it's much the same as number 1. People can spot it a mile off. Plus, you might actually be cornered if they ask you to show them something. Don't use other people's proof of sales as a proof of concept. Use your own or don't bother. Do not send group direct messages. Now, I recently made this mistake. It's not a good look. I didn't actually realize it was going to happen like that. I thought I could send multiple messages, and it didn't work, and it looked awful, and it didn't have the desired effect. Last one. Don't send one-word messages like hi, hey, or how are you. They're all utterly cringe. The bigger accounts laugh about it, they mute you, they might block you. Don't do it. It's not how you start conversations. Okay, so let's go on to the positive, the do's of direct messaging. So, open conversations with people like you would in real life. So, imagine we'll go back to the sort of hi, hey, how are you? That's not how people would normally have a conversation in real life. So you have to remember this has to be a real interaction, even though it's online. 2. Wait to see if the person needs the product you're promoting. I can't stress this enough. You will sell to people who are already interested. You won't be able to sell to someone who isn't. To find out, you have to have a real conversation with them. So 3. Show them examples of you using the product. Something I've done a lot is do screen recordings of a course or a product I use, and I'll then say to someone, look, if you're interested, I can send you a preview of me using it, and it puts them at ease. They know that I actually use it, and they get to see what the back end of the course or product looks like, and it has led to sales, so it's a good idea. And it's very easy to do screen recordings. This is a screen recording, for example. Okay, 4. Offer them value. Can you help them with a problem? Chances are much higher if you can convert a sale by investing in their needs. Remember the golden rule of any sale. No one cares about you, they want to know what's in it for them. Much like number 2, they have to want the product. So that's what's in it for them. That's what you really have to find out. So you can give them an extra incentive. Would you be willing to assist them after the purchase if they get stuck? That's a very easy thing to offer. You already use it. You could probably help them navigate something like an online community or a course. Be open and honest. This is extremely important. Don't bullshit them with false claims. Tell them what the product has done for you specifically. You can then say, look, this is what it's done for other people, but I can only tell you about my experience. You always have to base it on reality and on honesty, because if you're dishonest, if you conflate something, if you oversell it, the person might come back and say, excuse me, but you said it did this and it doesn't. I've asked for my money back, but I also want to tell you blah 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 blah. You don't want your reputation to be damaged, so don't offer the world unless you can actually deliver it. So we can talk more about client outreach later, depending on what you guys choose to do after the course. Ultimately, it's very similar, except the CTA is usually to get the person on a call. So I'm going to wrap things up with that. That's the end of this lesson. You'll learn more about DMs as you're on Twitter, so on the job. If it helps, maybe we could do some role playing and you could send me a DM with a call to action. So I'll put this out there in the group and we'll see if that's of interest to anyone. Excuse me, my throat's going a bit. I sound like I'm losing my voice. So this final lesson for this week, the action point is quite simple. Read the do's and don'ts before sending any direct message. And yep, we can do a practice DM. If you have a call to action, you could send me, test it out. I'll let you know how your DM is from an outsider point of view, and I'm happy to talk about DM etiquette further. So let's wrap that up today. It's quite there's not a great deal more to talk about. You will understand more about this by practicing. So that's it. I hope you enjoy the rest of the weekend. I'll be doing a recap video. I'm going to probably do that on Monday, and then have the lessons Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday next week. I'm going to be moving house, so it's going to be interesting squeezing it all in. Let's hope that I can do so, but either way, I want you to enjoy the rest of your weekend. This is Momo, signing off, over and out.